Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, this episode was pretty interesting. You know what? Let's talk about Sam. I feel at this point, with everything that's going on, that Sam might be reconsidering her relationship with Jason. She's sitting up there, she's sitting with Molly, and they're talking about Alexis and everything, and, talking about Danny, and, she's sitting up there talking to her sister, and Sonny sends one of his bodyguards over there to pick up Sam and the kids or whatever. Go to Sonny's place. And Sam is sitting there talking to Carly. And, Carly's sitting there talking about, possibly going to Puerto Rico or whatever. In case things get really crazy. And Sam asked a question. Sam was like, are you okay with, leaving, your job and your friends and your family and stuff like that, just packing up and leaving? And, Carly's like, listen, I knew exactly what I was getting into. I signed up for this life, and by extension, my kids. Sonny never lied to me. And neither did Jason. And she has that look on her face like she wants to say something, but before she does, Jason comes in and tells them everything that's going down as far as their theory on why the floating rig was blown up, and pretty much it just came down to it was because of me. Cyrus feels the best way to get to Sonny is to get through him, and they explain that, and that's when Sonny comes in, and, Sonny's sitting there talking. Well, Sonny comes in, and, they talk about Lulu and everything like that, and I don't remember who asked the question. It might have been Sam. Sam was like, I think we should leave. We should just head out. And Carly's like, listen, let's, I think we should stay. Sonny was like, if they left, by all means, but you know what, that sends a bad message. Which it does, but I don't think that Sam was really too happy with that. Sam was the first person like, yo, listen, we gotta get out of Dodge, things are getting crazy, buildings are exploding, we gotta go, and you know what? Somebody mentioned a comment. Somebody mentioned this in the comment section that, Sam really didn't seem like she was too broken up about Dev. The way she said it, and it made me sit there and think, the way she said it's like, yeah, Dev was a good kid. Wow, Sam, you you really look broken up about that. I mean, I get it. He didn't, you didn't know him, but, he's not going to be that much older than your kids. Could you try to put a little more emotion into that? But I saw in the previews, Sam was like, what if I'm not, cut out for his life, sort of. That's not the words that she said, but that's kind of the vibe that I got. And I don't blame her. I really don't blame her. I'm sitting there thinking, it took your son almost dying in an explosion before you're like, you know what, maybe this life isn't for me. You didn't sit there and think, hey, Morgan, Christina, Molly, I think Michael. And I always sit there and go back and I think about Drew. And I think about that version of Jason that gave up the mod life to, be with Sam and the kids. And as much as you're going to sit there and say you love Jason, Jason doesn't love you enough to leave the business to be with you. And that's my guy right there. That's my character, but it is what it is. Um, and you know, we go always sit there and talk about hypotheticals. And when I like, if Jason did decide, because I think at one point Jason did almost like decide to leave or whatever. He did decide to leave the mob or whatever, and it didn't work out so well. And I think at one point Sonny decided to try to leave the mob or whatever, and it didn't work out. I mean, my point is, even if Sam decided to leave Jason, or Jason decided to leave the mob, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. And you know, just going back to even if Sam decided to leave Jason, I mean, the best you can do is, you know, get new names and stuff like that, move somewhere else, and hope that Jason's enemies doesn't find you. So this whole reconsidering things is a little bit too late. But going, I understand her thought. Second. Now let's talk about Ava and Julian, because Ava had it up to here with her brother, you know, and in one scene she was like, you know what, me enabling you has gotten us to this point, has gotten us to this point where you're blowing up buildings and you're injuring people and you're killing people, and you know what, at this point I'm pretty much an accomplice. And she says to Julian, listen, you got two options at the end of this. You run, and I help you. You stay. You're on your own. And you know what? I can't blame Ava. I can't, you know. When Nicholas came in, because this is after, you know, Julian convinced, Ava to hide, you know, Julian and Windermere. And of course, Jason came right there. So after he left, you know, Ava was like, Ava said before, you know, Windermere is the first place that people are going to look. And at this point, with the whole bomb and everything like that, like, it's, you know, Ava's like, yo, listen, it's only going to be a matter of time before they put two and two together to figure out that it was you. What are you doing? You know, she felt bad because at this point, Lulu's condition is a lot worse. And you know, Julian, Julian at this point is just refusing to just own up to it, just to take responsibility for it. He's like, oh, it was Sonny's fault, you know, I did this for Lucas, and, you know, Sonny is unreasonable, and he's the bad person. I'm just, you know, I'm the victim, you know. Sonny is just an unreasonable person. I was like, bro, your character is so far gone. I don't know about this character anymore. I really don't. And, yeah, I guess we're just going to have to wind up seeing, because Ava's like, listen, Sonny's either going to kill you, Cyrus is going to kill you, or you're going to run. Those are your options, you know? Julian's all like, oh, I don't like those options. I want to stay and be with my family. Bro, the only person in your family that actually likes you, that tolerates you, is your sister. So what family are you talking about? And I get it. I understand that not that long ago, Cyrus was like, you know, he has eyes on everyone. He has eyes on Ava, Avery, all his kids. So him running in his mind isn't really an option. But you know what? I mean, Nicholas is rich. He can hire security. I'm pretty sure Sonny will sit there and help out, if nothing else, but for Avery. So, yeah, Julian's option is to run. That's it. The threats, I mean, yeah, they're real, but they have a fighting chance between Nicholas' resources and Sonny's resources. They have a really good chance of, you know, fighting off Cyrus. So I guess we'll just wait and see. Now, let's talk about Lulu. So, yeah, I said before, her condition is a lot worse. And her condition is a lot worse. And when this is after Portia pretty much was kind of delivering the bad news, sort of. You know, like the brain swelling and everything like that. She's in a coma. And, you know, Portia was just like, I don't know if she's going to wake up. Now, when Lucas came in, Lucas kind of gave her more detail. Gave them more detail about everything. And Lucas is like, the one thing that Lucas said was, the damage got much worse as time went on. So her, you know, talking to Laura and Dante about Dustin and everything like that, all that stuff that she was doing, if she had gotten checked out sooner, they could have found the damage and fixed it. But because, you know, that time lapsed, her condition is a lot worse. It's so worse that Lucas is like, we don't know if she's ever going to wake up. Yeah. Yeah, we don't know if she's ever going to wake up. And I guess we got that. I guess we're that's the answer that we're going to get. Because I kept sitting there thinking the whole time, are they going to kill off Lulu? Are they going to kill her off? I don't know what they're going to do with this character. Because here's the thing. Dante came back. They brought Dante back, and the whole idea was to get Dante and Lulu together again, or a love triangle or whatever, but for whatever reason, they did not renew the actress contract, so that sucks for her. I don't know what they're doing as far as recasting this character, because I feel like it's going to be a bit of a wait. She's going to be in a coma for a while, and now we're going to have Dante. I mean, Dante is still going to be doing stuff. Here's my thing about this. Here's my whole thing about this, and I've said this in days as far as characters floundering. Because, you know, if you don't have a love interest, then it's like, well, what are you doing? And it's not to sit there and say just because you don't have a love interest, you don't have importance in the story. Dante is lucky enough to still have importance in the story. I mean, his objective still is to take down Peter August, or Heinrich, or whatever the hell you want to sit there and call him. So that's still his objective. So he still has stuff to do. He still has stuff to do. So I know, I mean, maybe this is just my thought process or whatever as far as soap operas goes. Like, if you don't have a love interest, then what are you doing? But I think the important thing is that as long as you're doing something, as long as you have something to do and you're not just there to kill time or to be a filler, then good. So I think Dante is going to be fine. But it does suck for a lot of the viewers that were hoping for a Dante and Lulu reunion, because ABC and the powers that be decided, nah, we're gonna... I'll get into that in the end. Now, Franco is going to be fine. They was able to remove, like, the swelling and stuff like that. They were able to save him. But now, at this point, waking up, we don't know which version of him is going to be. We don't know if it's going to be Franco, or is it going to be whatever that killer name was that I totally forgot. I know his name was something. You know what's really interesting for people that don't know? The reason why they call him Franco, sorta, is because originally it wasn't played by that actor. It was played by James Franco. And I really do miss his version of Franco. I mean, whatever. But, yeah, we don't know if he's going to be the good Franco or the bad Franco. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And Liz did have to break the news to Cameron that, you know, Dev didn't make it. And here's the thing about this scene, and I know that, you know, I'm just going to come right out and say it. From a story point of view, it was very sad watching Cameron lose another friend. Especially him being at that age, losing that many people. it sucks. How any more than one person, even one person is enough, and it sucks. But it was heartbreaking to watch him lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, know that his friend didn't make it. You know, and he blamed himself and survivor's guilt and everything like that. But with that being said, I gotta sit there and say that crying scene was just wow. It was bad. It was bad. And this was, and you know, the thing is, if it was just, you know, I would still criticize just this one crying scene, but when he started crying when Oscar died, it was like, wow, this is bad. This is like taking me out of the moment. Like, it's hard for me to feel bad for this character when the crying scene just looks so terrible. But with that being said, you know, Carly also had to sit and deliver the news to Jocelyn and Trina, and they were sad, so they went to go to the hospital to see Cameron, and you know, you get this scene where, you know, Cameron is feeling survival skilled, or survival skilled, and then you start doing this whole thing about, you know, living in the present, being a more courageous person, telling people how you feel, and you know, everything that you would do, you know, when something like that happens, or when you get a second chance or whatever. And this is when Jocelyn was about to sit there and say something, but of course her bodyguard came in and interrupted her, was like, you gotta go back to the house ASAP. So she's back at the house now. Side note, what's going on with the actress that plays Christina, I think? What's going on with that character? Oh, and I also forgot, Scotty didn't know about Franco's brain tumor. You know, and Liz accidentally told him, he didn't know. And it you know, then he started piecing it together as far as when Franco was asking about life insurance and everything like that, and just being very anal about it. I'm sorry, but that's literally just what it really came down to. Also, when Sam was talking to Molly and stuff like that, they really, I mean, they probably were going to say it to his face, but they really was, like, grateful and, like, thankful that Valentine was there for, Alexis. And also that Valentine seems like the person to get through to Alexis, because she doesn't have to sit there and worry about hurting his feelings. You know, she doesn't feel like she's pressured or backed into a corner. You know, so Sam was like, listen, it is what it is. If Valentine's able to help, let him help, you know. But she's also just like, I don't know if anything would do any good as far as this point. She feels like Alexis is just past the point of no return. So, yeah, it was nice seeing Sam give, you know, Valentine credit. And, you know what, here's the thing that So I was really hard on Sam yesterday, as far as the way she was acting towards Valentine. And even though some of my criticism still stands, I had to sit there and kind of remember the first time that she met Valentine. The first time she met Valentine was when Drew was Jason at that point, and Valentine kept everyone hostage, and I'm not too sure if he shot Drew or not, but like, it pretty much just kind of showed how ruthless Valentine can be. So, to be honest, you know, when I'm sitting there looking at, you know, how Sam is sitting there acting towards Valentine, I'm like, well, yeah, I can kind of understand why she has a grudge against him. It is actually warranted. Yeah, I totally get it. So yeah, the fact that she did actually thank him, yeah. I had to really sit there and think about that for a minute, like, oh, you know, she was acting all, like, bitchy and everything like to him, but I was like, you know, yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Let me just make sure I covered everything. Yeah, and with that being said, I think that's about it. I think I pretty much kind of covered everything. If I missed something, I don't really think it was that important. But I'm pretty sure I covered everything. So, with that being said, yes, GH will not be coming back on until Monday. Um, so, if anyone that watches this and watches my days, Friday, back to business as usual as far as days. GH, I will see everyone on Monday. So, with that being said, I hope everyone has a great, happy Thanksgiving, a great Thanksgiving. Be safe out there. I know things is crazy right now, and one thing I've learned throughout this year is to really be much more grateful than usual, given everything that's going on. So, and with that being said, I'm actually really grateful for everyone who watches my reviews, who comments on my reviews. I'm grateful for Brock TV for even put me on this channel as far as like shout me out and giving me some traffic as far as new subs and stuff like that go. So thankful for him as well, and I'm thankful for everyone who's watching my videos, as I said before. So thank you. Be safe. Happy Thanksgiving again, and I will catch you in the next review.